Hey guys, we're back on H1Z1 Devathon. I like Devathon the most.
Devathon is awesome.
Devathon's
Yeah,
awesome.
because you guys are going to be hardcore working from 5 to 9.
Exactly. So we're here now with some friends from media and from some fans. And we're just having basically a Q&A dev discussion, firing off questions and answering them. So let's get into it, I guess.
Does anybody have any specific questions they want to shoot to the development team?
Can we get a couple more, or like one more devs, or it's just me and Lenny right now, right?
Me.
Oh, hey Steve. How's it going?
Thank you.
Sorry, before maybe why don't we go around and you just
Yeah, let's
tell
introduce
us
Okay.
about
so
that.
people know who the devs are.
Hi there. I'm Steve George. I am the producer on H1Z1, and my main duties are to take care of team. So, helping them get their builds out on time, tracking their project status, keeping track of all the bugs. It's a dirty work nobody wants to do, but somebody has to do it. So that's me.
And I'm Adam Clegg. I'm a world designer, game designer basically on H1Z1, and I'll be helping Lenny a lot, as you'll find out soon, with building the world. So,
Lenny?
Yeah, I'm Lenny Gullo. I'm one of the designers on H1Z1. Yeah, I'm in charge of the world building, but I also have my hands in NPC, AI, itemization, NPC spawning, a little bit of lots of stuff I get dirty in, and yeah, Adam's going to be helping me build this world, make it great.
sweet. So you had a question?
Yeah.
Or let's give him the mic.
Tell your name and give your handle.
Sorry?
Yeah, introduce yourself.
I'm Steven.
Do you have a handle?
Gamer tag,
No.
gamer name.
I'm Stemmer61 on Steam, and I'm an occasional writer for Cryptic Games.
Cool.
So my question is, how have similar games like DayZ and your own games that you've done previously, so PlanetSide and EverQuest, informed your decisions on game development so far?
You want it?
Yeah, this is really interesting to me because in the past we used to develop games in a way where we'd design all this content for players to consume, and we would assume we knew exactly what you wanted to consume. So we make these giant projects, and then over the years we'd release this plate to you. I use this a lot, by the way. And some people eat the meat and throw away the vegetables. So then we rewind and we adjust, and then eventually the game becomes very streamlined over time. So now we're just kind of taking a different approach to this. What we're doing is we're trying to make it to where we give you the core game, we'll let you guys interact with us, show us exactly what you want and what you like, what you don't like, and we implement that to the game, and right off the bat we're on the proper railroad track, if you follow what I mean.
Yeah, and to piggyback off what you're saying, we're all gamers here. We love all the games that are out there. It doesn't matter what type of game it is, and we're influenced by any of the games that we play. Just because you don't have to play only survival zombie games to get great ideas from to put into the game. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. And we've had a lot of help over the last few projects of Free Realms, PlanetSide 2, and EverQuest Landmark even, to help us create this engine to create H1Z1. And the ForgeLight engine is really going to what makes this game shine.
Yeah. In its current state, ForgeLight has gone through probably 4 iterations at this point. It started early on with Free Realms and worked its way through
Yeah.
Clone Wars.
Basically,
PlanetSide.
we couldn't have this game if we didn't make PlanetSide 2, and we couldn't have PlanetSide 2 if we didn't make Free Realms. You know, it's kind of like a natural progression. And now that we have the engine into a state that we really like how it is, we can create a ton of games with this engine. So, anybody else have a question?
I have a question.
Oh, here.
Thanks. My name's Sandbox Quint from the Sandbox Podcast. My main question is, as this game is going to be a sandbox-style game, what are you guys doing in order to kind of foster an economic community as far as trade goes, banking? Is it localized banking? Is there banking at all?
I think a lot of that stuff we haven't really fleshed out, but I have a good idea that the players are going to be creating a lot of their own type of economy based on what they feel is valuable, what's not valuable, things like that. And we want to be able to create lots of different recipes and stuff for people to craft so they can kind of create their own type of scenarios. You know, we joke around a lot about Breaking Bad, right? About how funny it would be to be able to do a Breaking Bad scenario, and the play would all be community driven. Like, we don't want it to be a situation where we're telling players to do this. We want players to just do that themselves. So we have to create enough resources and things to craft and things to do, so those economies just happen. That's what we're really looking forward to, kind of like an emergent gameplay sandbox type of game.
Okay. And then as far as like kind of like trade stuff goes, you look at games like EVE Online. Okay, they have all the banking stuff is kind of localized there, because that's kind of a huge thing, is, you know, getting goods from one point of the map to the other and surviving and creating some kind of supply and demand in different areas. Have you guys thought about that as far as, you know, what you plan to do for that? I mean, are you going to have resources that are only attainable on, like, say, the northern side of the map, which you might need in the southern part of the map?
You want to answer this one, Lenny?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were actually talking about this the other day on making certain points of the map to be more important than other areas. So, like, wherever you spawn at, you may see, like, hey, you know, I really want to get over this area because there's some really valuable stuff over there that I can use for not only myself but maybe my friends, or if I'm part of like a community of people that we have formed. So absolutely, we want to make, you know, things inside the world be much more valuable than others.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Anyone else have a question?
All right, I'm Jason from CryptoGames.com, and I'd like to know if there will be zombies of varying speed, strength, toughness, such as a riot gear zombie, a athletic zombie, a bodybuilder zombie, stuff like that.
I see.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So yeah, that's something that we are actually building the zombie AI system for. We want to, down the road, be able to add in different types of zombies. So like right now we're making the standard walker that you see in any kind of zombie movie or game, anything like that. Then we want to branch out and start making the different types of zombies that you would see, that, you know, just being creative. Like you could have like the big muscular brute type zombie, like maybe he charges you, or he's just really strong at taking down defenses. And then we can even expand even more than that. Like we were talking about the idea of having a zombie evolution. So if a zombie is feeding on somebody, and maybe he feeds on enough people, maybe he's getting stronger himself, and over time he gets more powerful.
And his AI could transform along with that.
Exactly.
Because the AI systems.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the zombies will actually progress if the longer they stay alive, and depending on what they're doing in the world. So we're building the system to actually support that. Eventually down the road we'll have that type of stuff.
Okay.
Michelle, you want a question? Yeah, we're streaming.
How's the water in the game?
Though the water, it's very pure,
I love pure water.
freshwater lakes.
If you can find
Rivers.
it, you know.
Anybody else you want a question? All right.
Sure. So are there going to be like events in the game where, say, you just throw thousands of zombies into a certain part of the town and kind of trap people, or anything like that, where there's just like a giant horde, or I don't know, just kind of unique scenarios that happen?
Something that comes up often in our discussion is having themed servers. So the ability to have users vote, let's say on Reddit, say, hey, we'd like to have a server that's just a total zombie swarm, and we're like, yeah, let's do it. So we'll fire up another server just for that particular instance, and we'll let you guys enjoy it for a couple weeks, and then we'll maybe rotate it out for something else.
Yeah, so what, like, events that you're talking about where like an event just happens on a server, like we said, we want to make sure the people that are playing on the server that they're playing on, they like to get immersed in it. So maybe that type of player doesn't want an event just firing off, you know, but maybe a different type of server likes that kind of thing. So one of the things that we are planning on doing is airdrops. Yeah. So an airdrop will be a real thing that happens where an airdrop flies over, and you don't know who called it in. Maybe you did, and maybe somebody else did, but everyone, you know, kind of sees it flying over, and then it drops. So now what happens? Like, is the person who called in the airdrop setting up a trap? Is he really in trouble and he needs like resources or something? Or is he just, you know, is it just a wild card airdrop? That type of thing is going to create a lot of awesome scenarios, we think, for players to kind of like see it and make a decision of like, I don't think so, or like, oh, I could probably get this loot right now, and go run over to that area.
On that same point too, we've talked about having airdrops controlled through a mobile application also. Although there's no details yet, but in the future we'd love to be able to have somebody send an order out and it appears on your mobile phone or something, and then you can do something to interact or craft right from there. You know, you're at McDonald's or whatever, and there's like, bam, I just dropped you a med kit.
Yeah, imagine a world where you have your crafting resources and your friend's like, dude, I need some help. Can you send an airdrop for me? And you look at your inventory and you're like, yeah, I probably could. And you send it to them. And then, like,
That's cool.
that, I mean, that's down the line type of stuff that we've talked
we even
about.
talk about last time.
Like people can make trick type airdrops. So it looks like a normal airdrop. When you go up there, it's like a trap. It's like opens up the crate and there's a bunch of zombies come pouring out. That'd be pretty funny.
Zombie crate drop.
Yeah. The governor, right?
I make you put your hands up, and then I go, thank you. Bam.
Yeah.
I want.
Like that, easy kill, right?
I would love it to be like interactive for like people that are watching live streamers. So like pretend you're watching a live stream, like some famous live streamer, and people are like donating airdrops to him to like watch him go or her go run to the airdrop and see what happens. Or just sniping them, stream sniping them.
But going back onto like the other question about hordes and all that, we are actually working on supporting like the AI to be able to respond to things that are happening in the world. So if you have like a base fortified and then all of a sudden everybody starts shooting off their guns, well, zombies far away are going to be like, hey, I hear something. And they're going to start roaming that way. So eventually you might just see like 20, 30, or even 50 zombies just roaming in a direction because you're making a lot of noise out there. Blowing up cars, gas stations, whatever. That's going to attract zombies from far away. Maybe you don't even see them. So we're actually putting that system in, to support that type of event-ish type things. That's cool.
So Travis from Razer, I actually pulled this question from Twitch chat. So
nice,
merciless guys. Wants to know what's happening with how are barricading? How is that being handled? And server hopping. So building up barricades on a server and then jumping from server to server.
That's something. I'm sure you.
Yeah, not much data just yet on server hopping. Barricades. I can tell you that there's a few things we've been working on. You guys have seen some of the screenshots of the barbed wire. Yeah. And we did some tests the other day. Matter of fact, our crafting guy, Paul Carrico, and we had built this awesome funnel in the road. We took walls and we kind of made this giant funnel, and we lined it up with barbed wire. And we just sat there with our torches on, kind of taunting people.
Yeah,
people run,
As of right now, we are actually working today, like our big point is getting barricades to work on windows and doors.
Yeah, that's our dev feature for today.
That's a feature for today. It's still ongoing right now, and hopefully we'll get something to show you today. But it is one of the features that we will definitely have support in this game, because we want players to be able to barricade up windows and doors and fortify their homes.
And like I said before, if somebody tries to server hop, they're on a different character. It's completely different. Your character's handled on that server. It doesn't mean that you can go somewhere else and just have that barricade up where you were standing before. It's not going to be like that.
That's also, whenever we do different rule sets, it's like, how do we support that? So we're just going to make it where your character is part of that server. If you want to go on the other server, you roll a new character.
Cool. How's it looking on? Good. 3 minutes. Okay, I have to go to the U-Lab.
You're all going to go.
Oh, we're all going to U-Lab in 3 minutes? 3 minutes. All right, so let's have like one more good question. Do you have one from Twitter, Tony?
Sure.
Or Radar Z? Sorry.
Sure.
Oh, Andrew has a question, our AV guy.
You can collect bottles of water. I don't know if this has been answered yet, but you can collect bottles of water in the game, but there's like fresh lakes and fresh rivers. Can you gather water from those as well?
We do have dew collectors right now, which is another way of getting water. If you can craft one, you set it up and you come back after a given amount of time, it'll collect the water for you.
And water's a huge part of the game because you get thirsty. So down the road, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry that we're going to have to be able to find multiple systems of getting water, collecting water, getting not just bottled water, but being able to use that to craft into something else or to gain something else.
There's a lot of conversation about the lakes, by the way. We're just lakes aren't on our top priority at the moment, but they will be fairly soon.
You're going to have deployable harvesting stations like Star Wars Galaxies. You can put them out and then go back and collect from that.
For the most part, if you count the animal traps.
Okay.
So you'll craft an animal trap, you set it out there, you come back later, it'll be closed, and there'll be a chunk of meat in there for you. Or you put a dew collector out,
or
come back later.
Player who happens to come
or he steals your stuff. Poaching is a big thing, right?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, we're very much aware of the demand for people to want to grief each other and like take their stuff and like roll up on somebody's stuff and be like, oh hey, look at who didn't protect their things well enough, you know. We're definitely very aware of that being a big part of the gameplay that people want, and we enjoy it too. I mean, it's all really fun for us also.
What about the possibility of poisoning? It's like somebody's trap of food, like they don't know, and they eat their food and it's poisoned and they die. And
that sounds pretty
grief.
fun.
Good idea.
That's actually a good idea.
Somebody write that one down.
Yeah, somebody write down that one. I think that would be awesome, actually.
Steve doing that all over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, that's why the crafting system in this game is so important, because you can do, you know, to the nth degree of things with crafting. You know, as long as you have the base resources in there, you can then add in a million things that you can do. So it looks like they're ready now for the Michelle, are we ready for the ULab?
We're ready. Yep.
Okay, so you want to transition into...
Yeah.
Here, where's the mic?
Oh, where's the...
Yep.
There's the mic.
Sweet. So as we transition, we are going to go and talk to one of our artists, Matt Broom, and he's going to show us some really cool exclusive stuff. Follow me. The camera's coming with me. We have entered the Matt Cave.
What's up?
Hey Matt, how's it going?
Going good.
So we're taking a quick art intermission on the stream, and I'd like you to introduce yourself again for all of our new viewers.
Hello, I'm Matt Broom. I'm the character lead on H1Z1.
And what are you working on right now?
Right now, thanks to Twitch Nation, we're working on Bob. This morning he was just zombie number 2, but because of you guys, his name is now Bob. So I'm cutting away his face right now.
What programs do you use to?
ZBrush, Maya, Keyshot, and the other ones are going to be familiar with is Photoshop.
Awesome. And so this is zombie number 2.
Yes, this is Bob. So what I'm doing right now is
Exclusive first look at Bob.
I'm going in now and I'm adding all the shiny bits to Bob so that the blood looks bloodier.
So what is your intention for Bob? Like, is he, you know, are we looking at like super fleshy, or is he broken bones, or what's your goal?
You know,
the end goal?
to scare the crap out of people. So, you know, the whole thing is to get him as terrifying as possible so when people see him in the dark or see him in the day, you know, he looks absolutely terrifying. So a lot of stuff we'll do is go in and you can see him in different times a day in the program, you know, pretty simply. So we can do little quick pre-renders of Bob. You want to just pretty much make sure that you're getting all the undead flesh, but you always want to make sure you know what they look like before they died. So you see some hints.
You start with like a normal person and then
Yes.
zombify them?
Yeah, if you look around his eyes, you can see like a healthy male. But if you get in closer, you can actually see that the H1Z1 virus is starting to eat away at him. So one of the things we're doing is we're adding like veins and scar tissue to this guy and showing how the virus will start sometimes with the eyes. So you can do stuff like put blood splatter. But for right now, I'm actually starting to cut away, and you can see I'm starting to add some flesh.
So those are not necessarily wrinkles, they're like zombified,
It's
like
eating him.
suction.
It's eating him. If you guys look really closely, you can kind of see that what the virus is doing is kind of like Ebola or some of the other airborne viruses. It's actually eating away at his skin. It's not burning his skin, but it's actually eating away. It's almost like it's regenerating on the surface.
And what is the difference between Bob and, say, Fred?
The big difference between the two really is their profession. So all these guys were real characters before this all happened, right? So you should be able to see everybody's profession really beforehand. So with this character, for instance, this guy, unlike the others, this guy, you know, was just your average 26, 27-year-old college student. So you'll see he has on like a pretty casual shirt.
So he might have got bit at like a frat party or going to the liquor store.
No, these zombies would never drink. No.
So he was at Bible study
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
when the zombie horde took over the local Baptist church.
Right. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I can write lore too, so.
So you can see like we're breaking them up in pieces, you know, so we can do different type of zombie arms. So some of these you'll start seeing the virus is like more greenish in nature, start eating away at the flesh. But this is another good example of, you can see where he was a normal average male, but the zombie is the virus is starting to take over and start to eat away at his skin all the way down to the fingernails.
It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic stuff. I would not suggest you do Google searches for decayed flesh. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the reference that you go through. I mean, I heard you're a keen into zombie genre. in
Love it.
general.
Love it. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. I read the comic books actually before the TV series came out. No, I love that stuff. I've seen all the movies, watch it every every Sunday on AMC. Love it.
What's your favorite zombie movie in general?
The movies are tougher. I don't know if I like World War Z for different reasons. That was like the first fast-moving zombies. I like The Walking Dead because it's more traditional. And there's no supernatural zombies in it, which is what I like a lot. So I'd probably say my favorite overall right now is Walking Dead. I think they just get it right.
So who would you be in Walking Dead? Are you,
I would be whatever character is not dead on the show. I would, you know what? I would be the governor if he was alive. I'd have a huge sprawl, my own little village, my own city,